Fish and chips are a Kiwi favourite, but sometimes you have to ask why.
Dry chips, soggy fish, loads of salt.
Fish and chips are a high-fat nightmare in newspaper. I'm Nic Watt, and I'm an award-winning chef. I've owned some of the top Japanese restaurants in the world. But now I'm opening Masu, a brand new restaurant in Auckland's Federal Street dining precinct.
Spectacular.
But if there's one thing I've learnt in the restaurant game, what works in one place
Try some snapper.
Oh, that's beautiful.
may not work in another.
It's a bit plain, I think.
So to create my menu, I'm putting Kiwi taste buds to the test. In my test kitchen, I'll make 3 Japanese dishes, all inspired by a Kiwi classic.
That's healthy, that's quick, sensational.
Japanese food is delicious, and I'll show you just how easy it is to make.
Who couldn't make this and who wouldn't want to make this?
And then I'll hit the streets,
Come in,
where you'll decide which dish makes it onto my new restaurant menu.
Wow, what have we done to that?
That's beautiful. This is really, really tasty.
The noodles were a little bit sloppy.
No, not keen on that.
Not keen on that one, yeah? That's a...
I've got some great ideas for a Japanese twist on fish and chips. Crumbed flounder, barbecued snapper, and tempura battered scampi.
What are the Kiwis going to make of my Japanese interpretation of fish and chips? I don't know.
Which one of my dishes will measure up on testing the menu? Kiwis love fish and chips, but why?
Tasty and just a Kiwi staple, really.
Nice and greasy, good for a hangover.
I mean, if the fish is good and crumbed, then I'm quite happy about it, yeah.
But we won't eat any old fish and chips.
When they're greasy and fattening and all the fat is still on it.
Some places where you go buy fish and chips, you know that they've pre-cooked them and they're not fresh and it shows in the taste.
If my Japanese fish and chips are going to wow the Kiwi palate, I need really fresh fish. So I've come down to the auctions with a couple of expert fish buyers, Richard and Dennis. If you want fresh fish, you have to be early.
Everyone here is in competition.
Yeah.
It's like a big video game where everyone's playing against each other.
Yeah. The ultimate game of expensive Space Invaders.
I've successfully bid on some delicious scampi and some yellow belly flounder.
$12, that's right. That's right.
But I really want some snapper, which could be easier said than done.
If you want to buy a snapper, you have to get in early because there'll be big demand today. Everyone here wants snapper.
The atmosphere in the auction room was really, really intense. You could feel that the energy of everybody desperate to bid for that really high-priced snapper. There wasn't too much fish in there, so everybody was sort of like gagging for that special bid.
I'm just going to buy it. I'm going in. Oh, I'm going in. Go for the kill. Popeye. Go Popeye. That's a Popeye. Got a bit of Popeye.
We've got some Popeye, we've got some snapper.
I've bought flounder, scampi and snapper.
He's a beauty. He's an absolute beauty.
Fresh seafood is so important in Japanese cuisine. And with just a few simple ingredients, I'll show you how to prepare 3 fantastic dishes.
I'll do it justice. Come on.
No worries,
It's been a great morning, so I'm heading to my test kitchen to start cooking.
When you're thinking fish and chips, it's got to be fried. So I've got to do a batter. I think I could throw something crumbed in there. All these ideas, all this fish, I can definitely take this back and work a Kiwi fish and chips with a fantastic Japanese twist.
First up, crumb flounder. It's a fish I grew up catching, but will Kiwis love it as much as I do? I start by making the crumb mix. I'm using Japanese panko crumbs. They're made with crustless bread and are so light and crisp.
Have your first plate, and you're going to put some flour in there, some plain flour. So just a good sprinkle of flour. You've got quite a few fish fingers to coat. So the second plate is the egg wash. So we're just going to crack 1 egg in there. Egg wash is essentially egg and milk. I'm just breaking all that yolk up, make sure it's all nice and even. Now, the third and final stage is the Japanese breadcrumbs called panko. So all we're going to do is place our bite-sized pieces of yellow belly flounder into this flour. Move around your fish so it gets a nice light coating. And once it's coated, just give it a bit of a tap and we should have a really super light dusting on there. And then we're going to go from here into the panko. If you can't find panko, you could easily just use some breadcrumbs you have at home. It just wouldn't give you that lovely extra crispness. So all I'm doing now is just making sure that they're nicely coated and covered.
With the flounder crumbed, I want to add flavour, so I've got a plan for a spicy mayonnaise. I zest 1 lemon, add a handful of chopped coriander, and a good pinch of dried chili powder.
So what we're going to do is we're going to just take half of this on the side, and we're going to use that at the end just to season our hot fish fingers. And the remaining half, we're going to stir in some Kewpie mayonnaise. Now, Kewpie mayonnaise is the stock standard Japanese mayonnaise. It's got that addictive characteristic. If you can't find Kewpie, you could use any mayonnaise you have in your fridge, or you make your own egg-based mayonnaise yourself. So we're just simply going to add the Kewpie to our spice mix. Good, good, good squeeze. And this is where our lemon will come back into play. Half a lemon should be about right if they're juicy ones like this. This is really a sensational play on an Asian tartare sauce.
Time to cook my crumb flounder. I'm using a wok and rice bran oil.
So just pop these guys in. And these are taking the best part of a minute to cook. They're just really small little bite-sized pieces, and they'll sit and continue to cook while we're finishing the dish. Just be careful to keep these turning. You hear them sizzling, all that beautiful frying going on. We're going to season it with this beautiful seasoning while it's still hot, and that's going to bring out all the aroma of the coriander. You can actually see all the beautiful panko sections, all these lovely crispy bits. That's not your average breadcrumb. They're all just poking out there. This is going to be bright, crispy and fresh. So I'm just going to give it a quick taste now. We've got that spot on. Really, who couldn't make this and who wouldn't want to make this? Sensational.
1 down, 2 to go, as I create 3 contenders for my Masu menu.
All the flavours that'll have everybody diving for that last piece.
But what will you, the public, make of my Japanese twist on fish and chips? I'm Nic Watt, a Kiwi chef with a passion for Japanese food.
We've got that spot on. Beautiful.
I'm creating 3 dishes inspired by fish and chips: crumbed flounder, barbecued snapper, and tempura battered scampi. But which one will the Kiwi public like the most? For my second dish, I'm throwing a bit of a curveball: barbecued snapper. But will my flavours be too far from classic Kiwi fish and chips? I'm using 3 key Japanese ingredients to make a marinade: mirin, sake, and miso. They're all available at Asian supermarkets.
A good sort of squirt in there. I guess that's the best part of about 5 tablespoons. We're going to add some mirin. It's sweet rice wine, and what we want to do is get it like a bittersweet balance. The best part of a couple of tablespoons of the mirin goes in. The sake. Sake is essentially Japanese rice wine, so you can substitute this with a Sauvignon Blanc or whatever wine you have in the fridge. It's just going to help lead out or stretch out the miso. It's about 4 tablespoons of the sake. And the next component is the lemon. And you want to do an old bartender's trick where you just give it a rub. And what you're doing is you're essentially breaking down the juice in the lemon already. Look at all that juice coming out. It's fantastic. We're just incorporating all the sake, the mirin, and all that beautiful lemon juice into it.
Now it's time to prepare my snapper. I'm going to cook it on my rabata, or Japanese charcoal barbecue. They're a common way of cooking in Japan.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to marinate the fish. We've got this beautiful miso. We're just going to spoon it over the flesh. Really want to just envelop the whole fillet in this beautiful, refined miso. And then that can just get put to the side. The next stage is we're going to make this bright red onion pickle. I add 2 cups of sushi vinegar into a heated pot. If you can't find it, white vinegar is fine. Then, over a medium heat, add 2 star anise, 1 sliced green chilli, and a red onion, finely sliced into rings. we're going to bring the vinegar and start to break the onions through the vinegar. And this is the easiest part of the pickle because we just want to have these nice onion rings just broken through. With the warmth of the vinegar, it's just going to cook and pickle the onions and just allow everything to cool down. Okay, so the next stage is we're going to start to thread the fish fillet onto the skewers. It's almost like sewing them on. And what you want is you really want this texture and wave in the fillet, like so. Push them through. Just before we put it on the grill, what we want to do is pick up all this beautiful marinade and just spoon it over it so it gets all on the skin and beautifully onto the flesh side, because this is all that beautiful flavour that you've worked onto the marinade with the lemon and the sake, etc. On the Rabata barbecue over the open charcoal, they've been on for about 25 minutes. I'm going to get all this beautiful caramelisation. I'm going to get all the smoky notes coming through. If you want to do this in the oven at home, some tin foil with a little bit of oil on it, place the fillet skin side up and allow the miso to start cooking under the grill until it gets all caramelised and the skin is crispy, and then it'll be ready. And just over that charcoal, we're going to allow the flames and the smoke just to start to caramelise up that and get all that beautiful miso and mirin, the sugar points in that just to start to golden and get crispy and get that sweet and sour note.
While that's cooking, time to finish my red onion pickle. I add some torn basil and the small heart leaves of a head of celery. This pickle will taste great, but I'm not sure the kiwi palate will go for the unusual flavours.
So the final stage of the fish is squeezing the lemon juice over it. You can feel all the steam coming up, all that lemon juice cooking into it, and that's that last stage. Just gives it that burst of moisture and steam just before you serve it. And just carefully as you remove the skewers, just give them a little bit of a twist so they don't grip the fish as it comes out. And you can hear actually the skewers start to sizzle as they come out of the fish.
Snap is such a kiwi favourite. This dish could be the winner. For my final dish, I want to try tempura battered scampi with blackened chili mayonnaise. This is the closest to our typical battered fish and chips, and I reckon the Kiwi public are going to love it.
What we have here is really the most beautiful scampi. And all we're going to do is you just hold the body quite firmly, tuck the tail under, and we're just going to give it a twist and a crack, like so. And that'll pull out the tail meat. Scampi, to me, it is one of the best ingredients you can work with. It's sweeter than crayfish, it's juicier than a prawn, and this with the tempura, that crisp light batter, is just going to work really, really beautifully. What we're going to do now is you start to crack the tail, you give it a good squeeze, and with a pair of scissors, crack through this membrane here, and it should open out quite nicely for you.
I slice the tails into bite-sized pieces and then prepare the tempura batter, which is much lighter and crisper than other batters. I'm using ice water and store-bought tempura.
And you want the iced water because it chills the batter right down. And what you're doing is you're putting an ice-cold batter into hot oil, and it gives you that instant crisp and keeps your batter nice and pale and nice and thin, hence better. You just stir it around with some chopsticks, and what you really want, which is quite unfamiliar in batters really, is you want a few lumps and bumps and a few pieces in there. It should really run off your fingers in about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. You can start to see the lines in my fingers. 1, 2, 3. Means we're going to have a really nice, light, crisp batter. What we're going to do is we're going to now add our aonori, which is our nori flakes.
If you can't find our nori flakes, don't worry, they're optional.
We're going to add our scampi. Stir it all around. So the next stage is to make a blackened chili mayonnaise. Take 1 red chili. I've just got a little bit of rice oil here that I'm quite simply going to brush over the chili. That's going to help the chili start to blister under the flame and blacken. While the chili's blackening, I've got 1 lime. Now I'm just going to zest the lime into the bowl. And I think our chili's pretty much there. It's all blackened. Look at that hot, steamy. So it's really just a matter of chopping it up. We want those seeds in there. We want the heat with this dish. Look at that, it's beautiful. It's all chopped. There's seed, there's skin. It's all flavour.
Next, add half a cup of Kewpie mayonnaise and the juice of the lime, and give it a good stir.
We've got all that chili, got all that lime zest in there. The consistency just runs off the spoon nicely. So that's going to capture all those lovely crispy bits within the tempura.
Now it's time to start cooking, and I'm using rice bran oil.
You can hear it bubble and sizzle as it goes in. I think there's a beauty about that sound, you know, that bubble of the scampi and the tempura just sizzling and cooking, and you know you're about 2 minutes away from heaven.
Finally, in a nod to Kiwi fish and chips, I'm serving my tempura battered scampi in Japanese newspaper.
You have to taste a bit. We've got crispy batter, the flavour of the sea coming through from the nori seaweed, sweet scampi, spicy chili, lime, mayonnaise, all the flavours that'll have everybody diving for that last piece.
Coming up, I take to the streets.
Have a taste of my snapper.
Is it tempura battered, crumbed, or barbecued?
That is delicious.
Which of my takes on fish and chips will end up on the Masu menu? I'm Nic Watt, a Kiwi chef. I'm opening a restaurant called Masu in Auckland's Federal Street dining precinct. I've taken fish and chips and given them a Japanese twist.
We've got that spot on. Sensational.
But will the Kiwi palate prefer my barbecued, crumbed, or tempura battered version?
What are the Kiwis going to make of my Japanese interpretation of fish and chips? Am I in the game? Am I even in the ballpark? I don't know. A little bit nervous, actually.
I've brought my test kitchen to Mission Bay to find out. First up, my barbecued snapper. Snapper's such a popular fish, but will the Kiwis coat without batter or crumbs on it?
Have a taste of my snapper. Mum and daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm terrified. You know why?
Why?
Because nobody can cook as good as anybody's mother. Oh, hang on, I've got a ooh from Mum. Oh, and a from Mum.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's
really nice. That batter is so light, isn't it?
Yeah, it tastes really good.
I like the flavour.
It's milky and it's really soft.
I've never tasted snapper like that, and I do lots of fishing. Like gourmet fish and chips.
Like gourmet fish and chips. Oh, I like that. Yeah. I've got some gourmet fish and chips. Perfect. That's I like that. I like that.
But it's not all good news for my barbecued snapper.
How does it taste?
A bit dry.
A bit dry. Absolutely. The snapper's had an absolute strikeout.
Next up, tempura battered scampi. It's the closest to our typical battered fish and chips, and my personal favourite.
No, that's good.
That's good?
It's light, yeah.
Light. So we've got a crisp, light batter on scampi, yeah?
I love the delicacy of the sauce.
Yes?
The scampi isn't overpowered.
Yep.
I love the sauce that you've got with it.
Yep.
It just really complements the dish.
That is really great.
It's really great.
Batter's really nice and light.
So you're savouring that by the looks of it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Whereas Mum's just devoured it. She's like, boom, that's gone. That's good, that's gone.
Wow.
Wow. Wow, I've got a wow.
Good. Oh, delicious. Wow.
Yeah? It's delicious?
God, mind-blowing.
Yeah, I've got some nods going on.
It's looking delicious.
Is it? Yeah?
Lovely, tender, delicious fish. Soft.
Not going to get food poisoning, am I?
Absolutely not. Oh, yeah.
That's really nice.
So the tempura battered scampi's taken an early lead. But there's still my third and final dish to go. Crumbed flounder.
That is delicious.
Okay.
Wow, what have you done to that?
Then I had that nice bite from the chili.
Yeah.
That little, just the edge.
It's just light. It's not soggy at all, like the fish and chips you'd buy at the store.
It has to be that batter. You're doing something. It's incredible.
Batter's nice and crispy.
Really nice and fresh.
This actually says fish and chips more to me than the other two do.
They're worthy of a restaurant menu?
I think so.
Yeah.
You've retained the flavour of the fish.
Yep.
And you've brought in some flavours that work with it really, really well.
So it's a thumbs up, thumbs down?
Oh, definite thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up?
Do you want a thumbs up?
But which of my three dishes is the overall winner?
What's the dish of the day? 1, 2, 3.
This one.
The flounder?
Yeah.
I want them all.
Give me one.
I'll take flounder.
Perfect.
I think I'll go for the middle one.
You go for the middle one?
Yes.
You go for the scampi with tempura batter?
Definitely, the tempura.
So we've got a tempura and we've got a snapper.
The snapper's really good as well.
What would you order in a restaurant?
That's fine.
A scampi tempura?
Oh, and actually I quite like crumbed.
I've got a scampi and a flounder.
I'll go for the flounder.
So is that 2 flounders?
Yeah, 2
Perfect.
flounders.
The flounder.
The flounder, yeah? You think the flounder's a winner?
It sure is.
Thank you very much for coming down and thanks for
No, thank you.
helping me test the menu.
Cheers.
Perfect, thank you very much. Cheers. Snapper, who would have thought? You know, the fish that's caught all over the country didn't make the cut. Did I push it too far? Too much with the Japanese and the miso? I'm not sure. The scampi, the closest thing to fish and chips. Tempura batter, black and chili mayonnaise, that I thought was going to win it today. But it was the flounder, that light crunch of the panko, those clean flavours, so wrapped I get to take a fish that I grew up with back to the test kitchen and really start to work it up for a masu dish. Phenomenal result. Now I'm taking everything I've learned to turn my crumbed flounder into a restaurant quality dish. The difference is I'm going to use whole fillets, lime wedges, and serve it on a fish frame. My mate Dennis from the fish market will be the first to taste it.
I love Japanese food. Being in the fishing industry, you know, you can't avoid it. Fresh fish, pickled ginger, wasabi, soy sauce, you can't go wrong. But I'm very dubious as to how the fish and chips will go. Wow, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's crispy bones. It's just can act a little bit as a serving plate while putting it in. Just a few little lime segments. I'm just sort of going to pop and build in around it.
Yeah.
Lovely fresh coriander. There we have it, Dennis. There's my take on fish and chips.
Fantastic.
Yellow belly flounder with panko and a beautiful spicy Kewpie mayonnaise. You go first, matey.
Mmm. Oh my God, that is amazing. I think the Kiwi public's got great taste. Really, really nice.
You come to the restaurant for that?
I think I would.
I might have Masu's first customer.
I think you have.
Hey, you're Masu's
indeed.
first customer. Crumbed flounder is officially tested and on the Masu menu.